What should teachers and students be doing in a realistic classroom? The roles slightly differ. Let's look at the teacher first. The teacher, of course, is the expert of content knowledge. Whatever the teacher teaches, whatever subject grade level, the teacher must be an expert in that content knowledge. But then the teacher teaches essential knowledge. Everything that the teacher knows may not be appropriate to teach at a particular grade level, and therefore the essential things should be taught. And when we look at essential, the question the teacher should ask really is, what will the student need in this particular subject to be successful next year when he goes from my class? That's the essential things that I need to teach him today, so that he moves from my second grade to the third grade, one level higher, with the appropriate foundations, so that the third grade teacher can build on what I have sent from my classroom. That is essential knowledge and skills that should be taught in a realistic classroom. So keep in mind, what will the student need to be successful when he's out of my classroom? While he is in my classroom, is still connected to this year. That's not enough focus for a teacher's teaching. What will the student need next year, next year, next year? If all teachers focused their teaching on what students would need next year, students would not be moving up the grade level with accumulated deficits. They would be moving up the grade level with solid foundations so that the next teacher can build comfortably on the foundation. Maintains task-oriented focus. The teacher's job is not simply to be talking and lecturing and dictating and writing for the students. The teacher's job is to have the students do things, task-oriented. Give students meaningful tasks to do. Tasks in the classroom should not be filler activities to kill time. Tasks in the classroom should not be to keep the students busy. This is not babysitting. They should be busy, but they should be busy in meaningful ways. So as teachers, we need to find these meaningful manners, ways, opportunities to help students learn in a realistic classroom from the teacher. The student is there to listen and learn. Again, we are still focused heavily on the past. So the student is still a passive recipient. So the task that the teacher wants the student to do is reading, writing, exercises from the textbook in the copy, taking notes from the board, interacting with the teacher when the teacher asks a question and the student responds. Now, most of the time when teachers are asking questions to students, they are what, where, who, and when type of questions. These are lower order questions. They don't permit students to think independently in their classrooms. Because students are involved in lower order question answering, it does not promote thinking. The student is still passive. The student is still dependent on rote learning, or as they would say, learning by heart. Is it good? Is that the kind of education we want students to be getting? Or do we want them to be involved in activities, in group work, in problem solving, in decision making, and those kinds of wonderful things that they will actually need in their real lives? This is what even the realistic teacher needs to focus on. Although for the realistic teacher, the student is still a passive recipient, the activities can still be made interesting and exciting so that students will enjoy their learning experiences with a realistic teacher in a realistic classroom.